Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CEO of Starve Network. I am your host, Indesha, the CEO. The purpose of this show and this program is to educate you on the importance of financial literacy and entrepreneurship. On tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about overcoming the silent income killer, right? There are many financial objections that we have to meet in order to get to our financial goals. So one of the things that I'm going to go over is one of the main things that prevents a lot of people from hitting their financial goals. Again, it's called the silent income killer. And the silent income killer is inflation. All right. So inflation is pretty much when the cost of goods and services go up, right? So when you have like gas going up, grocery bills increasing, you have things like everything around you is just increasing, but your income stays the same, then that's when you know that inflation is a real thing, and that's what inflation is. So we want to help you to overcome this silent income killer, and how we're going to do that is, so the definition of, did you shut it off? The definition of inflation is the general increase in prices and a fall in the purchasing value of money. So as mentioned, when you have the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, the cost of just everyday things that we purchase, and your income stays the same, then that's an issue. You know what I mean? You have to be able to put your money in places that's going to help you stop inflation. It's going to help halt inflation. So it's very important, guys, that you understand this silent income killer, because a lot of people don't factor this in when it comes to them hitting their financial goals. You know what I mean? And these are the things that happen on a day-to-day basis. So we have to be mindful and in tune with these things. So now that we identified the silent income killer, now I want to give you some things that's going to help you hedge against the silent income killer, things that's going to help combat inflation, right? Because your money has to be growing. Your money has to be working just as fast as inflation does. And with this economy, it's constantly ever changing. It's ups, there's downs, there's recessions, there's time where things are going good. And it's like they say, like every 8 years, there's a recession. So you have to make sure that you are preparing yourself, right? And the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm implementing now is to prepare myself for when things are down, right? Is making sure that I have money invested in certain things. So like I said, we're going to go into some of the things that's going to help us fight inflation. So one of the things that can help us fight inflation is investments, right? So, I'm a stickler for words. I like to find a definition of words. So investments is the action or process of investing money for profit or material result. So that's something that you want to keep in mind, is that you need to start having your money, instead of spending it on liabilities, spend it on something that's going to produce you income. Anything that produces you income is an asset, right? Now you may ask yourself, like, damn, what can I put my money in that's going to help me, make money, that's going to help flip my money, right? Legally, of course, right? So you're going to be like, what can I do? Well, there's certain financial instruments and certain financial tools that we can use. They have something called the stock market, right? See, me, I have an account on the TD Ameritrade, right? That's the account I use. That's a brokerage account that I use to hold my money. So I try not to put as much money in the bank account, because a bank account does not yield you any real return, right? I think it's like a fraction of a percent. It's not even a whole percentage of the return of the ROI of a banking account. And the irony of that is that banks, they actually use your money to invest. They invest with your money. So you have to play the game that this country plays. You have to play the game that the wealthy play, right? So you park your money in a bank account, and yes, it's secure and it stays there, but it's doing nothing for you. It's not working for you. So we have to get in tune to these different financial tools that's out here. So with that understanding of investments, the thing that I want to get into now is, how another way to hedge inflation is using that stock market, right? So as I mentioned, I have a brokerage account with TD Ameritrade, right? I have X amount of dollars in that brokerage account. And what I'm doing is I'm using that money to invest in corporations. I'm using that money to invest in companies that is going to yield me a return, a way higher return than me parking my money in a bank account, right? So that's one important thing that I need everybody that tunes in, that taps into this channel and taps into this platform to understand that you want to start thinking of creative ways on how, you can make your money work for you, all right? So with that understanding, when you put your money into the stock market, one of the most phenomenal things, right? And what's his name? Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, he called this the seventh wonder of the world, right? Which is compound interest. Now, there's something called compound interest. Now, this is the interest that you earn on interest. Like, that is just mind-blowing, right? It's the interest that you earn on interest. So once you understand that fundamental, thing when it comes to investing, then you can get excited about it, right? You can actually look to see like, oh, wow, like, I made money, X amount of money off and parking my money in here. And now that interest is making me even more money, which is hence called compound interest. All right. So I'm going to give you an example. So if you have $100 and it earns 5% interest each year, you'll have $105 at the end of the year, the first year. At the end of the second year, you'll have $110.25. That, my friends, is what you call compound interest. That's your money working for you and your interest that you get on your money working for you. All right. So a lot of you guys know that I'm Mr. LLC, right? So I help people register the entities. I help people file their trademarks. I help people just pretty much get everything they need when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, right? And one of the main things that we can do to help us hedge against inflation is creating a company, right? And one of the best entities that you can create as a small business is an LLC. So an LLC, by definition, is a limited liability company. It's a business structure in the U.S. that protects its owners from personal responsibility for its debts or liabilities. Right? Now, this is very, very important that we understand that when you are an entrepreneur or when you're in business, this is the big boy, big girl game, right? So you have to make sure that your documents are sufficient and that you're operating as a real business, right? A lot of times that we have these ideas and we start these things, but we don't understand, how to really operate it, how to really make it work for us. So we have to make sure that when we start these businesses, that we are doing the proper things with them. We are making sure that we open up a business checking account, right? We're making sure that we're keeping our personal expenditures and our business expenditures separate. That's what the business checking account does. So you have to do these things so you can make sure that you are fully protected with the limited liability company. All right. So if you're not doing that, then what's going to happen is you're going to commingle your funds, right? And anytime you commingle your funds, then that's when, if in an event that someone were to try to pursue you in a legal court, then they can, something called piercing your corporate veil, right? That means that they can bypass your entity and go after your personal assets because you are not operating your business the right way. So it's one thing to do and and to open up these entities, but it's another thing to operate them correctly. So it's very simple, guys. You just got to make sure that you're not commingling your funds. You're not spending your business money on personal things. You're not spending your personal money on business things. You got to keep it separate. And another thing that can help with hedging inflation is opening up a bond, right? So I remember when I was a lot younger that that my godfather, he had bought us bonds, right? Now bonds today, you know, they are a great tool that a lot of people, I don't hear a lot of people talk about that much, but they're actually a very, very great tool. And with that bond, the main thing with that bond is going to do is going to help you, you know, protect that money, just like a bank account, right? But there's benefits to it. So the definition of a bond in finance, a bond is a type of security under which the issuer owes the holder a debt. The issuer is obligated, depending on the terms, to repay the principal of the bond at the maturity dates, as well as interest over a specified amount of time. So when you hold a bond with a financial institution, you know, you are paying that financial institution, where you should be paying that financial institution to grow that bond, right? So it's very important that you understand that. Now, the benefits of having a bond, it can provide predictable income stream, right? Like I said, if you're feeding that bond continuously, that is a predictable income stream that you're going to know that you're going to have, right? So if bonds are held to maturity, bondholders get back the entire principal. So bonds are a great way to preserve capital while investing, right? So this is a great way to hold capital while you're investing. And these are the financial things that we have to understand that is going to help us fight inflation, right? Again, inflation is when the cost of goods and services go up, but the way that you make money stays the same, or the value of money stays the same. And when that happens, that value of the dollar actually goes down, it decreases. So I like real estate, right? Real estate is a beautiful way to fight inflation, because that means your money is constantly working for you, right? You invested into an asset, and now you have placed tenants in that asset that is going to pay you on a monthly basis. So this is one of the most for sure ways that you can fight inflation. And when it comes to real estate, it has made more wealthy and financially stable people than any other industry, right? My plans is to buy a multi-unit by the end of this year, and that's going to be another stream of income for me as a side to my business. So the definition of real estate is property consisting of land, the building on it, along with natural resources such as crops, minerals, or water, in which you have an interest vested, right? So that's what real estate is. So it's very, very important, guys, that you understand, you know what I mean, these financial these financial resources that we have at our leisure. You know, this is America. You know, in America, you could be anybody you want to be. You know, this is the country of milk and honey. That's what they say. You know what I mean? That's what is promoted. And once you understand that America is a brand, America is a business, it's a corporation. You know what I mean? Why do you think every American has a social security number, right? A social security number, you are a legal entity, right? You are your own walking entity. Now, how profitable you make yourself or how profitable, you know, you become, that's another thing. So once we get tapped into how this world works, then we can start implementing these things in our everyday lives, right? I know it's difficult. I know that we have a lot of turmoil and a lot of things that we face, you know what I mean, that prevents us from hitting our financial goals, but we have to take the time to educate ourselves. We have to take the time to learn from others. You know, I'm constantly on the prowl for information. That's what I do. I look for information. I try to gather as much information as I can and retain as much information as I can, right? That from topics that interest me, you know, and what that does is that equips me. That's another armor on my jacket, right? That's another thing, another tool that I have in my tool belt, right? When I have a new piece of information, when I have a new book, right? That I can dissect it and pick all the things that I'm going to use and try to implement, all right? So we have to make sure that we're not only getting the information, that we're also implementing the information, right? Because it's one thing to learn, it's another thing to execute. So once we understand that, it's important to not only learn to execute, then we can get to our financial goals a lot faster, right? And trust me, I talk about financial literacy because these are the things that everybody can relate to, right? Everybody has to make money in this country. I don't care what race, color, creed that you are. You have to make money. That's the way that is designed, right? But unfortunately, they don't teach us the proper ways on how to gain actual wealth in this country. So we have to take it upon ourselves to educate ourselves, right? There's a very popular quote that goes, education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. So it's important that we educate ourselves, that we tap into our natural talents, things that come to us easily, and we find ways to monetize that. This is what I'm building this platform for. I'm building this platform so I can hone in on the things that come natural and easy to me and monetize it, all right? Entrepreneurship is the way to go. That's the only way you're going to get free in this country. You're not going to get free working a 9-to-5 job, because anytime you're trading your time in for money, then you're never going to be free, because the way that you make money is dependent on you clocking in somewhere. So once you understand this mind shift and understand these changes that have to happen, if you want to be free, you're entitled to be and have and live the life whatever you want, right? I know with me, I know what I'm striving for. I know what I'm building and doing these things for. I'm building this for a future, for myself and for my legacy. You know what I mean? So whereas though that when I'm up in age and it's time for me to retire, I don't have to be out there working, right? Trying to work at Walmart or trying to work at Target. And no knock to anybody that works there, by all means. You know what I mean? There's no knock to that. But I'm just saying, to each his own. With me, I'm not going out like that. It's not happening. I'm sorry. So we have to make sure that we're tapping in to all the tools and the resources that we have. We have to make sure that we tapping into all the things that, that can push us ahead, and educating ourselves on the things that are the financial hindrances that keeps us from hitting our financial goals, right? So what I know without a shadow of a doubt, that if there's one thing that everybody can tap into that can improve their situation, right? The most common person to improve their situation is working on your credit. When you work on your credit, that is the most powerful thing that anybody can do to improve their situation. You can't do anything without credit. You can't buy a house without credit. You can't buy a car without credit. Hell, you can't even move into a place without having a good credit score, right? So credit is the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment, based on the payment that will be made in the future. So that's all credit is. Credit is your adult report card, right? Once you understand that, then you'll take some time to research what your credit is. There's people walking around here and don't even know what a credit bureau is. Like, come on, how can you be serious about improving your situation and you don't even know what a credit bureau is? You don't even know what your credit score is, right? So you can't complain. Like, beggars can't be complainers. Beggars can't be choosers. You know what I mean? Are you going to take what's given to you, or are you going to take it upon yourself to take what is to get what's owed to you, or what you feel is owed to you? I feel like the world's owed to me. I know what I'm coming for. You know what I mean? I want assets. I want things that's going to produce me income, right? And understand that it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take you educating yourself. And this is what this platform is for. CEO with Starve is the platform for you guys to get educated. This is the common man, common woman's platform, right? Anybody that wants to better themselves, you're going to see it. It's going to be live in the flesh, right? Because every time I show up, I'm improving myself. Every time I'm here, I'm improving myself. Even on a day-to-day basis, I'm making sure that I'm improving, you know, the world that's around me. You know what I mean? The world that I can control. You know what I mean? Like even from the first episode, I even went into scripture. You know, I went into scripture because I believe that there's knowledge and wisdom to be gained in these historical texts. You know what I mean? We have to understand that a lot of times there's nothing new under the sun. Anything that we want to be, anything that we want to do, we can do it. But the problem is a lot of times we try to recreate the wheel. You know, we like to think that we are a phenomenon. We like to think that, that we poop ice cream and we the next best thing since sliced bread. That's just not reality. We're all human beings. So we have to humble ourselves and we have to make sure that we are learning from others. There's nothing wrong with learning from others, right? And there's nothing wrong with, having someone help you. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with asking for help sometimes, but you have to be willing to put the work in. You have to be willing to not only get the information, but execute on that information, So, like I said, it's very, very important that we understand that inflation is a silent income killer that many of us, if not all of us, have to deal with, right? So I'm just coming to y'all. It's Ndesha, the CEO, coming to y'all with another powerful, build, another powerful content, and I'm going to come to y'all some more. I'm going to keep coming to y'all, right? I'm going to keep coming to y'all. I'm going to keep leveling up in life. I'm going to keep improving myself, right? Getting better with my craft, get better with everything that I do. And I want you guys to do the same thing. Life is for the living. You know what I mean? And once you understand that, your time is very, very limited on this earth, then you will start doing the things that you want to do in life, right? Tomorrow's not promised to us. It's not promised to anyone, If nobody understands that by now, then I don't know what it's going to take. 2020 was, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? 2020 was a hell of a year. We're still recuperating from that. We're not fully out of that. You know what I mean? So we have to understand that entrepreneurship is the way to go. Working a 9-to-5 job, which is not going to get you there. It's going to make ends meet. But I've never met anybody that had multiple jobs that made it out. You know what I mean? I never met nobody like that. You know what I mean? They always was still in the same situation, just more tired. And trust me, I know, I think I had about 2.5 jobs at one time. This is around the time when my daughter was born. I had 2.5 jobs. You know what I mean? Killing myself, trying to make a living, trying to make money. And I was still struggling to make ends meet. How does that happen? You know what I mean? And you're not able to sustain that for a long period of time, working yourself to death. It's not about working. It's not about that. It's not about clocking in and constantly, working yourself 12-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts. You know what I mean? And, don't get me wrong. There's a time to do that, but at a certain point, if you're serious about, achieving wealth, then you have to look into other means. You have to look into other ways. Now, everybody may not want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody may not want to own a business, but you still need to learn how to invest. Everybody has the opportunity to invest. So again, y'all, this is Ndesha, the CEO, coming to you again on the CEO of Starve Network. And until next time, peace.